So let's get started. We will try to not make it boring at all. So folks, let me tell you before we get started here, over in the control panel, where you've been typing in your city and state that you're located in, this is your opportunity to ask Patrick and me questions throughout the webinar. We're going to be monitoring this question box here, so feel free at any specific area that is making sense to you in that particular area. We'll do what we can to help answer some of these questions here. So, Patrick, we've kind of divided support into three categories: marketing, billing, and support network. So we did that because when you talk about lifetime support, that can be kind of ambiguous. We don't know really what that is. So we're really going to try to dive down that.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could explain that. What does lifetime mean? I don't get it.
Well, as long as that licensee is alive.
There you go. As long as that person who signed up and came through our training is alive, that's right. That's what it is, really. They can get support from us. And of course, if you're alive and you're actually sending claims through our system, then you'll probably need support of some kind. Somewhere down the line, we give all kinds of support, as you'll see during the webinar here. Eric's broken it down there very nicely into those three different things that cover the lifetime support. And it just means, folks, that you're not going to ever pay for support. Some companies that have done this type of business in the past, at least, a lot of them have gone out of business, but we went around for 23 years, they would offer a year's support or 2 years support or something like that. And then, of course, you'd have to pay an annual fee, sometimes $700, $800, $1,000 a year to continue to get support. We don't do that. And you'll find out as we go through the webinar why.
Well, we were going to talk about these are some of the things that a lot of people ask. We just kind of define what really is a lifetime of support. But Patrick, we need to ask the questions. What about, are there any additional support fees for royalty fees, additional users, support fees, software upgrades, new service fees, training fees, and that other one that some people might know about? Are there any clearinghouse fees? So just talk about this. Are there any support fees that are going to go along with this?
Well, let's talk about royalties to begin with. A lot of people don't really know what royalties are, but folks, if you've looked at franchises like a Subway sandwich shop, for every dollar you bring in, you got to pay 7, 6, 7, 8%, 9% back to Subway. That's the same way with Burger King and Whataburger and all the other franchises that are out there. So we have not modeled our company as a franchise specifically because we didn't want people to worry about that. Once you've paid that lifetime licensing fee that Eric mentioned earlier, $25,990, that is the last time that you'll ever send a check or send any money to American Business Systems. That covers your lifetime support. And one of the reasons that we can do that, of course, is because we make a few pennies off of each of the transactions that go through our system. So we're actually making a few pennies on each one of those claims that you submit for the doctors, and that keeps us in business and allows us to support you forever. Eric, at one time we only had a 2-year support, and I told the staff, look, why don't we just extend that to lifetime? And they thought I was crazy.
Right.
But the reason for that is because we didn't have any need to charge for that because we do make money on the back end. So we're vested. We have a vested interest in people's success. Let's talk about each one of those other ones there, Eric. You've marked them all out, but folks, that's important that you realize that there are no user fees. Our system, which is a cloud-based system, allows you to go and basically completely, entirely log in as many people as you wish. In the doctor's office, in your office, doesn't matter how many users there are. You're in charge of that, and there's no fees for that ever again. Now, that's important because there are companies who have a software that you might get initially 5 licenses or 5 user fee, seats, they call it, seats. After that, it's another $1,000 for each one. So that's where they get you on those. Support fees, we've already mentioned that. You never send any money to us ever again for the support. All that we're going to cover today is covered completely. There are no software upgrades. When you log into our cloud-based system, you're using the latest version of it. I mean, we might have upgraded it overnight, and you wouldn't even know about it until you logged in and saw on the initial screen there where it tells you what we did to update it. But that's all done at no cost to you. There's no service fees for any of the services that we have. Training fees. We do ongoing training, what we're going to talk about here a little bit later, and show you some of the webinars that we've done over the years at no charge to our licensees. And then, Eric, the clearinghouse fees. Why don't you kind of explain a clearinghouse to folks so they kind of grasp what that's all about?
Yeah, a clearinghouse is nothing more than the middle section, or the middleman, you want to call it, between the billing company and the payers or the insurance companies. To submit a claim electronically, you have to send it through something, some entity called a clearinghouse that allows that claim to get formatted properly, and then it gets scrubbed a little bit right before it gets sent off to the payer. So in a lot of cases, well, in all cases outside of our system that we know of, you will have clearinghouse fees. With ours, again, with Patrick, as he said, there's no royalties, there's no additional users, there's no support fees, no software upgrade fees, no new service fees, training fees, and there are no clearinghouse fees that go along with this. So we wanted to try to tackle the fees early on when we're talking about support, because a lot of these things you never know about until after you may have gotten started into a business.
They're kind of hidden by some companies, and they're surprises later on. You don't have to worry about that, folks. There are no service fees of any kind or support fees of any kind. Bob's asking here, which clearinghouse do you guys use? That's an interesting question, Eric. There's a lot of different clearinghouses out there that some medical billing software companies use or recommend to people, or they say, hey, just go sign up on your own to any support clearinghouse that you want to. Boy, that's a nightmare waiting to happen, folks.
Right.
That's why ours is built into our system. We are the clearinghouse. There is no third party. It's all done internally, and that's why our rejection rate on the claims that are sent is less than 2%. Most systems have, 10 to 30% rejection rate. Ours is less than 2%. That means more money in the doctor's pocket, and of course, more money in your pocket.
You got it. All right, so let's kick this thing off. Let's start off with this first tier. That's where we kind of like to look at. You'll see on the side, we're going to kind of go through this. This will be a little monitor where we are on the left-hand side. But right now, we're going to talk about marketing. Patrick, I mean, a lot of people ask, they still ask, whenever I become a licensee, do I automatically get a doctor? I mean, does ABS give me a doctor?
You know, if we already had doctors signed up, we would do the billing ourselves probably. We wouldn't need our licensees. But folks, that's not how it works. Doctors don't like to deal with one centralized company like somebody like American Business Systems. And besides, we're not in the billing business. We don't compete with you. We don't do billing for doctors. But they're looking for somebody locally that they can work with, or that's been referred to them by another doctor somewhere in the country. Sometimes that happens, and you don't have to be anywhere close to that doctor. But the point is that that's very important, that you know that we're going to be there to support you in whatever ways you need, but behind the scenes. But we don't have doctors ready for you to sign up. If we did, Eric, our licensing fee would not be $26,000. It'd be maybe $106,000.
Right, absolutely. Lisa's asking a quick question. Let's grab this one here real quickly before we move on. She's asking, are your licensees locked into having to use your software for a certain period of time?
No. Here's the great thing about a licensing situation. Remember, we're not a franchise, but we are a licensing company. That means we license. Did my light just flicker? I think I think the electricity's going out here. Hey, it's the end of the world. No, the real point is that it doesn't matter, because we don't care if you use our software or not, to be honest with you. We prefer that you use it. You'll find out that you wouldn't want to use any other software, but you're free to do anything you want to. It's your business. You're free to make any decisions in your business you want to, including what software you use.
And one other thing, Lisa, you're going to want to use this software because, again, if you don't know this already, it is the only billing software, again, that has its own clearinghouse. And if I can try to make it as simple as possible, we're the only billing platform that can produce claims in real time and get them to the payer. It's the only one that can do that. And we can communicate back and forth with the payer. And so you're going to have a greater advantage using the software tremendously. You're not going to want to leave because that's what's helping you get the doctor in the first place, and it's also helping increase that doctor's cash flow. So let's really talk real quickly about support, Patrick. We've just thrown everything up here real quickly to talk about all the different aspects of marketing that we can help people with.
Yeah, so when you come to our workshop here in Dallas, you'll find, folks, that we cover about a dozen different ways that you can go out and find clients. Remember, we've been doing this for 23 years, so we've got this down to a fine art. Besides, we actually pay an existing licensee who's running their own company to come down and do our training. So you're learning from somebody who's out there doing it and has tested these in the marketplace. All of our materials are professionally designed. They look like you're a professional company that's something larger than just somebody who maybe started something in their spare bedroom. And as you can see, we have flyers, postcards. We have books that have been published that you can actually be a co-author of the book along with a doctor. We have booths that for trade shows. We have flip charts and medication if you get stressed out. At least that's what it looks like there, a bottle at the bottom there. No, that's a marketing tool. We're not going to tell you about that right now, but you'll see all of these things we've developed and have spent literally over $100,000. Oh, hey, there's the book. It popped out there. This is the new Thriving Medical Practice. As you can see, that's co-authored by me and Dr. Vicki Ratner. We just published this, by the way, at the end of last year, and it's already a runaway bestseller because, folks, this is what doctors need. In today's environment, with the Affordable Care Act being looked at and repealing and repairing and replacing and all that going on, doctors need to stay in private practice. They want to, and the only way they can is if they get their financial house in order. Well, we've solved that with this book. And I don't know if you can see that or not at the very bottom of that book, but you can actually add your name to the front cover of this book as having written the foreword to the book. We've already written that for you. It's just a standard generic foreword, but it ties you in with us and causes the doctor who gets this book as a gift from you, it causes that doctor to say, wow, this person is tied in here with the chairman of the Medical Revenue Management Association, an actual retired doctor who is advising our licensees. This is one of the best marketing tools, Eric, that I've ever come up with.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. I mean, this is actually helping our licensees that are coming out of training actually get in front of doctors and their staff much, much quicker. It's better than dropping off a business card. There's no doubt. It's
here's a copy of the book right here. You can see somebody's name there. We just have a fake copy there, but there's their name as the having written the foreword. Man, does that add some credibility to when you're out marketing? So this is an actual book that the doctor can get on Amazon.com or in many major bookstores. The great thing is you can buy these books, folks, which retails for $24.95 in the bookstores and on Amazon. You can get this for $4 a copy. That's our printing cost on the book. It's a fantastic tool. Folks, if you don't realize the value of that book right there, the $26,000 fee that we charge for everything, that should be paid just for this book right here, Eric, just for the privilege of being tied in. Imagine medical billing companies that are out there in your area that are trying to compete with you if you have this book. They don't have this book.
No, they don't. Now, Craig, you're asking a question here, or actually making a statement here, where you said you've looked into other similar softwares that claim they have their own clearinghouse as well. Craig, the catchphrase here is that they have their own clearinghouse. What they mean is that what they've done, they've partnered with a third-party clearinghouse. They don't own the clearinghouse. They are not the clearinghouse. They may have a medical billing software, but they themselves are not the clearinghouse. So that's what you got to. That's just what they say. They say we have our own clearinghouse. They're just tied in with someone that they've worked have a partnership with.
Right.
All right, let's see. So let's get to the next slide here and talk about some consultative marketing, Patrick. I mean, this what we're trying to show you is we want you not just to go cold call anybody. I mean, cold calling is just walking around and dropping off a business card and saying, hey, do you need for me to do your medical billing? That's going to get you nowhere. That's why we've got all these marketing materials and now the book. Imagine, like Patrick's saying, imagine going to the doctor's office and introducing yourself as one of the person that wrote the foreword and say, can you please get this to the doctor? I mean, that's really what we talk about.
Very powerful. Yeah.
So
and
then, go ahead, Patrick.
Then consultative marketing just means that you're not going in selling anything. Folks, if you're selling something, it would be like selling $5 bills for $1. I mean, really, we're selling money. We're selling increase in the revenue for the doctor and reduction in the cost of what it's costing him right now to do the billing himself. So one of the things that we've got that Eric's illustrating here is a proposal that you'll be trained how to go through this. It's a templated document that you'll be able to pull up, make a few changes to it, and personalize it for that particular doctor. Very professional looking. On the left, you'll see a folder there that it goes inside of that's very quality, heavy duty, feels quality. And then on the right, there's an inside vision of it where you can actually put some of your flyers in. But folks, once you present this to the doctor, you are consulting and showing him or her how you can save them money. And I think Eric even has somewhere down the line an illustration of that. You'll see that later. A report.
Yeah, and so what you're going to experience here as part of your consultative marketing is what we're doing for you. Patrick, this is where I love to say this is where we are somewhat tied in with the licensee. This is where we're hand in hand, because you mentioned earlier, and I think there were some people that showed up late, so I'm going to ask you to repeat this again, about how ABS makes money on the back end. That's why we don't charge you any franchise fees or royalty fees. And this also is going to help explain why we do these live demos continually for you, again, at no extra fees.
Yeah, in a moment we're going to show you some of the ancillary services that you can offer to doctors. All of those we've designed so that ABS, we make a few pennies on all those transactions that go through. So in other words, you're not paying any of those fees, but we instead are getting rebate checks from the technology partners that we've partnered with that power all of those different services. In other words, it's kind of like buying a car from a dealership. You think you've got them down to the bottom line, and actually they're getting a rebate from General Motors for another $3,000. So they're making money. We're making money on our services, and we're being upfront with you about that because we want you to know that so you realize why you never have to pay any support fees for us. And these demos, folks, are live demos of our system. Eric's going to show you some more screenshots here as I talk about the demos, but basically it works like this. You're on your computer there on the right. You're watching this as we do the demo ourselves, our support people, for the doctor and their staff. So they're getting to see the system. You're getting to watch and listen to all that we say and do and hear the questions that the doctor asks and the answers that we give. So we're literally selling the doctor on the technology and the advantages that you are having for the doctor in outsourcing their billing to you. We're doing that for you at no charge. Folks, each one of these demos lasts about, what, Eric, 45 minutes to an hour?
45 minutes to an hour, that's correct.
And so what is that worth to you? And how much would you pay to have somebody do that for you? It makes you seem also, Eric, it makes people seem like they're part of something much larger than just themselves working out of their spare bedroom, right? They may be working out of their spare bedroom, but the doctor doesn't need to know that. They don't care. They don't come to your office anyway. And so it makes it look like you're bigger because you're able to say, let me set up a live demo with my IT department, and they'll show you the advantages of our cloud-based system. Eric, I've set in on some of these demos that you've done for doctors, and it blows them away, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And what's coupled with this that we haven't shown you, and I don't know if we're going to show it to you today, is that, and maybe it is. Maybe it's coming up here in just a second. I'll back up to this one real quickly. But there is a whole piece that goes along with this, that goes right along with the live demonstration, and that's the practice analysis. So imagine, folks, that you're able to go to a doctor's office, look at their numbers, see exactly what's going on, and you're going to create a report called the practice analysis report, and that's going to be showing the doctor what's called basically a gap analysis, where they are and where they could be with you. Now, you hold on to that until we get through the live demonstration. However, you have already fed us the information of what the key problems are with the doctor's office. So guess what? When we're doing the demos, we're keying in on those things that you've discovered through the practice analysis. So you got the practice analysis, so you just think that is a discovery. You get that information to us. We basically customize this demo based upon what they're saying, and then at the end, you get to demonstrate to them that report showing the gap of where the doctors are currently and what they could do because of the solutions that we brought out during the demonstration. So it really is like a 1-2 punch, Patrick.
Yeah, I looked at your slide deck earlier, Eric, and I do remember that you do have a picture of that report here. In just a minute, we'll show people. But folks, here's what it boils down to. We're working with you. We're your partners. And Eric, what are we closing right now on these live demos? When we do a live demo,
75% of the demos that we're doing, we're closing and helping those doctors come on board with our licensees.
So using this book as an educational tool for the doctor, you're going to get the doctor excited enough. And by the way, we marked this book like this. I think I have a copy of one here that has the little tabs in it. Look, see, in the class, in the workshop, we show you how to go through and actually highlight various sections of the book. And on those highlighted pages, you put little tabs. When you give this to a doctor with those tabs, guess what they're going to do? Their curiosity is going to make them go at least to those 6 or 7 pages and read the quotes in there about how you can help them with their cash flow. They get excited. They call you back up. Hey, I think I may need your help. Come do that practice analysis for me. When you do the practice analysis and send that to us to look at, we then set up the demo with the doctor, and it's all done online through a cloud-based system. And it's wonderful, folks. It's just a marvelous partnership that we've got with our licensees to help them sign up as many clients as they want.
Yeah. Now, what we're going to do right here, we can't take you on a live demo this afternoon, but what we would want you to do is get encouraged to go ask your ABS coach to do a live demo with you. They'll do one with you, so just ask them. But what we're going to do, we're going to just kind of step through some screenshots here of showing you some things of what the system can do and what we talk to those doctors about. So as you can see here, in this particular area, we've kind of got it highlighted down there. There are messages that can be inputted into the patient's record of what's going on with that particular patient. When you finally get to the billing, all the diagnosis codes are already all built inside the system. Talk about reports. You can do so many different types of reports: charts, bars, graphs, pies, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
On different types of things to present back to the doctor, all the things that they need for theirs. You can look over, obviously, their patient roster. And the cool thing about this is one of the things you can, as you can see here, you can manually enter all these patient demographics that are here. However, what you want to do is ask, again, your ABS coach to show you how we can, since we are the clearinghouse, kind of goes back to Craig here, because we are the clearinghouse, guess what, folks? We can actually go to like United Healthcare or Aetna or any of those and pull these demographics directly into the system without us having to type any of this. So and this is what I'm showing you right here. You could literally go out to Aetna, put all this information here, hit submit transaction, and then bring in all of that information directly into the system. First name, last name, street address, all their insurance information. Now I'm showing you the EMR side of it. You can see something very curious here. Everybody will look to the left underneath patients, and you see all those little color codes. Those little color codes are indicating to the doctor something very important. What that's indicating to the doctor is, has this person's insurance been verified? Patrick, you and I both talked about this. We've talked about this on webinars. 20 to 30% of the doctor's cash flow gets stopped because people are not checking insurance eligibility. And you get so many rejected claims, 20, 30% of that rejected. But here, it's actually given this information to the doctor on the EMR side. You just don't ever see anything like this.
And like I said, when I've watched some of our staff members do this demo, you'll hear the doctors in the background saying, wow, and saying things to their staff like, man, I didn't know you could do that electronically. This is really, cutting edge. And it is, folks. This is the leading edge technology. We stay on top of all the changes that are happening in this industry. We have to, because that's our business. That's your business. Yeah. And so we're vitally concerned about every little change that comes along from the government about these things to make sure our software conforms to all the rules and regulations. You can't do that on your own, and you can't do that if you're working with somebody who has a server-based software where they have to download, install updates, and send you CDs with installations and new codes and all that stuff. We don't do that. It's all done in real time in the cloud.
That's correct. Here's that practice analysis that we were talking about, Patrick.
Yes. Now, this is grown over the years to 3 pages, as you can see. These are questions that we've come up with that you can set and ask the office manager about the practice, or sometimes the doctor knows some of this stuff. And this is the data that you're going to need to give back to us to get ready for that demo for the doctor and for you to prepare that proposal for the doctor. It gives you all the information that you need because you're going to compare their current situation with what you can do for them. And Eric, tell them about this practice report here that goes along with the proposal.
Yeah, folks, if you just take a look, we'll kind of read it from the top to the bottom here real quickly. You can see that what you hear and see on that practice analysis, you're going to find out how many claims that they file a month. You're going to see what the average claim per claim is collected per, and you can see it's collected. That's the reimbursed amount for those that know this. Then you have a approximate rejected or uncollected claim rate. Now this one's 25%. Remember, I mentioned to you earlier, it can be 20 to 30%, so it can be somewhere in there. Monthly outsourcing fees, there's none, because this one does billing in their office. So we're considering how much they're paying someone to do the billing, plus all of the subscription rates, everything that they're having to pay for, clearinghouse fees, everything. So when you drill that down, what the doctor is getting from that $22,500 down to $17,500. Then, if you look at hours, just changing the collected rate, the rejected claims, and bringing that down, because we know it is less than 2%. You can see just the money collected actually goes up from $29,000, which was $22,000, and then after you take out all the cost, $27,000 a month. That's a $10,000 a month increase because of what the system can help them do. So Patrick, I don't know about you, but if we presented this to any doctor and you knew that you could add another $10,000 more a month into that doctor's practice, which doctor is not going to go with you?
It sells itself. There is no selling to do here, folks. Look at that bottom. Eric, can you kind of circle with your cursor there that bottom number down there, folks? In this particular instance here, this was a savings, increased revenue for the doctor of $122,000 a year. Like Eric said, that's $10,000 a month in increased revenue. It doesn't get any better than for the doctor, folks, and that's why they go with you, because it doesn't cost them anything to go with you. It makes them money.
Yes, yeah, it absolutely does. So, folks, what you can see so far, we've spent probably the last 20 minutes alone just talking to you about the support that you get from American Business Systems on your marketing. Patrick, before we move to the billing and the networking part of it, I think we just need to stress here the part where there's so many people that are so worried about getting their first client. And hopefully we've put enough emphasis here that we understand that. We want to make sure that those folks get doctors and clients. That's why we put so much effort into everything we've done so far.
Well, we tell people in the training class that, look, our goal this week is to get you knowledgeable enough to go out and at least hand out some books, right? That's how simple it is. And at that point, we want you to get the first client, and that's all we want you to focus on. Maybe you want a dozen clients. Maybe you want, like some of our licensees have over 200 doctors, 300 in one case. But, folks, you don't have to worry about that. One doctor is all you need, because once you've got one, if you do a good job for that doctor, they know one another, and they will tell other doctors about you, and your business will grow organically, automatically from referrals from one doctor to the next. And you'll be like some of our licensees. Eric, we've got licensees with clients all over the country. They may live in Florida, but they have clients in New York and California. Why? Because doctors know other doctors that are in different parts of the country. So it'll grow automatically. You can't stop it. It's like a monster. It's just going to continue to grow until it gets to the point where you don't want any more clients, and then you can refer that to some of our licensees in our network and even make money off of those doctors that you didn't do the work for.
Yeah, you got it. All right, so folks, we're going to switch gears here. Now we're moving from marketing to billing. And as we get started here, Guy, you've got a quick question here. I'm going to answer that because it kind of fits here with the billing. You asked, is it typical for a licensee to need to interact with the payers or the insurance companies? The answer to that is yes, because Guy, what you've got to understand here, you're only going to get paid on what you help that doctor get collected. So imagine if you didn't have that interaction with the payers, and you're not trying to get everything that you can get for the doctor, you're losing out.
Right. So
all right.
Your goal is to get as much money in for the doctor as you possibly can, because you make a percentage of that. And that depends on the doctor, the specialty, how large the doctor is. We'll help you with this, folks, but it does run nationally anywhere from 5 to 8%. That's the general range.
Yep. All right, so let's talk really quickly about this, Patrick, because this is where the billing kind of begins. We made this change. I don't remember how long ago it was, Patrick, but day one of training, these people are going to get hands-on working and actually trying to produce some claims here.
Yes, as you can see there in that middle picture, for example, that couple is looking at a laptop. We bring in the laptops, by the way. You don't have to bring your own. We bring a laptop to everybody in the class, and you get to sit and actually hands-on in real time over the internet using our Wi-Fi connection there at the hotel. You're actually using our system and doing some claims. Now, they're fake. They're not going to go anywhere, but they are the exact steps that you would take if you were out there on your own doing the billing. So we're going to guide you through that. And that's why that's important that you realize that we bring those laptops in. Now, Eric's going to show you on the next screen here the forms that we give you during the class. They're paper forms, but it helps you relate to what you're going to actually be doing for the doctor.
Yes. Matter of fact, this is a shot of our last class, and sometimes you may see our class being kind of set up in a U shape, but this is only half of the class here, folks. So we're expecting another big class here coming up here in March, but we've got hands-on training. You're right in front of the computers. You're going to do what's called a patient intake form, so you know how that works. And then the other side is a super bill, and you're going to actually manually input a claim, and you're going to do several of those, so you'll get a good feel about how the system works and how it processes claims, again, in real time through the clearinghouse. And so, again, just kind of showing this to you real quickly, this is what you're going to expect. You're going to go through, you're going to log in, or we're going to get you logged into iClaim, kind of show you how to do that. There is what's called a CMS 1500 form, or some people might know it as the HCFA form, or whatever it is. But all you're doing is, this is the form that would be normally sent to an insurance company on paper, but we're going to ship it out electronically. And that's what we're going to be able to kind of do with you during that training class. And Patrick, you want to talk about, now you mentioned earlier about the other ancillary services.
Yeah, and we're kind of illustrating those here, folks, so you can see that we have a lot of different services that you can offer to the doctor in addition to doing their billing. For example, if they're having a problem with their coding, we have a service called CodeWrite. We have over 100 certified medical coders that are ready to help you and the doctor make sure that the codes that the doctor is submitting is the correct code, that they're not overcoding, that they're not undercoding. You want to get the code right so the doctor gets paid what they're due and yet doesn't get fined by Medicare for, trying to overcode and get overpaid for it. Same way with all these other services, folks. Now, again, we go into detail in these in some other webinars, but we also have all this on our website and in the virtual brochure. So you need to sign up for that virtual brochure on our website by clicking the little orange button at the top, as Eric mentioned earlier. And you'll get to learn all about these services. And yes, you can make money on each one of these services. It makes you a one-stop shopping solution for the doctor when it comes to their cash flow.
Patrick, you might kind of keep going on here, and I'm going to kind of just take you through all of these here for you.
Sure. Here's the CodeWrite that I mentioned. As it says here, it's a powerful web-based application that opens up a huge market for you as a licensee to offer coding support services to medical providers. Medical charts are securely scanned to a coder's work queue for coding, and our certified professional coders do everything for you. All you do is basically provide the service, so you're making money as you provide that service for the doctors. The doctors are paying for that service, of course. To have a coder in their own office could cost them $40,000, $50,000 a year. Well, most doctors don't want that because they don't need the services that often. What they need is on a one-on-one basis. When they need the codes, they need the help with it, you can provide that for them.
Yeah, and it would cost you the same amount to have a coder in your office, or it would take you 2.5 years to become a coder. There's no reason for you to need to do that. That's why we have these services. And that kind of hands off right over into Audit Guard, Patrick.
Yeah, Audit Guard is tied in with this coding because doctors, again, are audited by Medicare on a regular basis. Sometimes just out of the blue, they can walk in and just surprise them. Hey, we're here to audit you. And what they do is they take some of the patient records and they look at the charges that the doctor has coded and billed for. And if they've over-coded, they can get fined up to $10,000 per infraction.
Yes.
It's very expensive for the doctor very quickly. So this service that you order the doctors, as it says, will let you use this service to get past the gatekeeper. Now, that's important that you realize, folks, that some of these services, you're not making a huge amount of money. They're not your major money makers, but they get you past the gatekeeper because now you're offering something that they really need in that office and they're scared of in this case. And so it's a great door opener. Every doctor that uses Medicare and sees Medicare patients are under this. Sorry, I was reading that, but
sorry.
Okay, that one's probably clear enough. Quick collect.
Yeah, there we go. Quick collect. I'm sorry, I actually my fat finger hit the button there.
Well, hey, that brings up a good point, folks. We've got all these slides actually in a PDF file that you'll be able to download. We'll mention that towards the end of the webinar. Quick collect. Now, some people have a hard time collecting the money in the doctor's office from their patients. Well, guess what? We have an automated, online, cloud-based service that does all this for you automatically. You know, you're not going to be sending out collection letters yourself. You're not going to be picking up the phone and calling anybody. This is an automated system that you can offer to the doctor for a fee that can collect up to 98% of all the money that the doctor should be collecting from their patients. And, Eric, I think we've used this figure in the past. Doctors only collect now about half, about 50% of that money that patients owe them. That's a tough one to collect, and so we've got a service that will help them do that. Quick collect.
Yeah, that goes along right here with Choice Pay. Now, Choice Pay kind of gives, the other one was kind of reactive. This one's a little bit more proactive. This actually gives the opportunity for the patients to pay over a period of time without maybe using a credit card, or they may want to put a credit card but kind of space it out over a little bit of time so it just doesn't hit them all at one time. And folks, this is a great little service here that helps out with helps give the doctors, their patients, another service that they can use too as well. And Patrick, I know this is one of the favorite ones you like to talk about is iDocs Now.
Yeah, this takes all of the paperwork that's now in the doctor's office. You've seen those shelves that have all the paperwork in them, all the folders. That can all be scanned into the cloud, into our iDocs Now document management system. Folks, this is a fantastic way to get rid of every piece of paper in your office. If you come down and visit us here in Fort Worth at our main office, just ask to see our file cabinets.
Yeah.
And a lady that sits up front, Hannah, will laugh at you because we don't have any paper. We don't keep paper in our office. We always scan it into iDocs Now. Why? Because we can access those documents from anywhere in the world that has an internet connection. We can log in and access those documents and see them, print them, email them. It's a wonderful system, and the doctors love this. And you can make money scanning for the doctor their current documents into the system. Plus, you make a monthly fee, of course, for them to be able to access those documents and store them there. This one I get excited about, Eric, because we're using it, and I know how good this one is.
Yeah, and so if we're using it, guess what? You can use it, and if you can use it, other businesses can use this. It doesn't have to be just doctors. It could be schools or
insurance companies, any financial institution, right?
Yeah.
So it's another one of the services you can make money on as an ABS licensee.
All right, Patrick, I'm looking at the clock. We got about 13 minutes left here, so we're doing, I think, pretty well. We finally got to our last little section here. Folks, again, you can see that we spent a lot of time on the marketing because obviously without a doctor, none of the rest of this even matters. So
no, that's right.
So we kind of showed you what we're going to teach you to get you up to speed on the billing, kind of know how to do the billing. But Patrick, this one is so important because this is after the fact. This is after you've got the doctor, you need help, where do we get this support network from? And Patrick, I have to say kudos to what you have done over the years. With ABS being really the nation's largest network of independent medical billers, we are ourselves our own network support team.
Yeah, it's amazing when I look back at how people don't realize when you're out on your own trying to start a business like this, it's lonely and you don't know where to reach out and get support. Well, we have that support already because we have a nationwide network, as Eric said, of the largest network of independent medical billing companies that are out there. So what does it mean to be powered by ABS? We have that on a logo on a lot of our materials. You're basically able to say that you are a part of this nationwide network. We do millions of claims for thousands of doctors from coast to coast every day, collecting millions of dollars in uncollected revenue for those doctors. You're able to say those exact words to a doctor and position yourself as a part of this network. That makes you look much larger than that person working in their pajamas out of their bedroom. I always say that. Hey, Eric, I see a question here that had to do with the this is from Lisa. She says, are these extra services, she's talking about the ancillary services, included in the fee? Yes. Yes, that's included in the 1-week training, too. We go into all those services during that, too, Lisa.
Absolutely. Now, Patrick, one of the things that you've mentioned in the past about this whole networking part of this, what if there is another licensee that kind of right next to me? Aren't they going to be kind of my competitors?
Well, here's the thing, folks. It's just like an insurance company. If you look in your area, there's probably hundreds of Allstate insurance agents. Now, they don't consider themselves as competitors with one another because they only need a handful of clients, really, to make a pretty good living in that independent office. The same with you, folks. You think that you need every doctor in your area. You don't. In fact, you wouldn't be able to handle most of them probably, unless you want to grow and open an office and hire employees. You can do that. We have licensees that do that. But you can keep this small, too. Literally, with a handful of doctors, you can make a pretty good executive income. So you don't need as many clients as you think. And we have several clients here in the Fort Worth, Dallas area, don't we, Eric? And we don't have any of them ever stumble across one another. It's just too big a market. There's too many doctors and medical providers out there.
And then one other thing before we bump off of this slide here, Patrick, there's another thing that you talk about when people are just getting started, because a lot of times the doctor might ask this brand new licensee, well, how long have you been in business? And again, being part of the nation's largest group of independent medical billers, you actually have an answer for that.
Yeah, you can actually say, well, I'm part of a network that's over 23 years old. I'm a local office. I just opened up a local office of this network. And so it positions you like like a real estate agent, like a Century 21 realtor. You know, they may never have even sold one house, but they're a part of Century 21. Right. That's the same thing that's true with you. Now, having said that, when we do those live demos for your prospective doctors, we have references that those doctors can talk to. They're not your clients, but they're part of our network, and they use the same system, so they can give a good testimony for you. That's all a part of you being an ABS licensee that you wouldn't have out there on your own. Right. So these other licensees are not your competition, as it says here. They're your network of support.
Yes. Yeah. Because a lot of these people here have multiple types of doctors. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of these 6, there's probably every specialty that's there in America, because each one of these have multiple doctors themselves. And it's good for you to know that in ABS, you could call the support and say, you know what, I'm about to start working with a podiatry group, and I need to know how some specifics. This podiatry is asking me some very specific things I don't know anything about. Who can I talk to in our network that can help me out? That's who we plug you in with.
Yeah, we've got medical doctors on our support team. We have Terrence Patterson there up in the upper right-hand corner there, which you see. He has a master's in health administration. These are people that can actually hold your hand and coach you. Now, that's a part of you being an ABS licensee. If you need that kind of help, one-on-one training and coaching, we have licensees from coast to coast that we pay as consultants to us to actually help you get up to speed. That's why it's such a great situation, folks, that you're a part of a network that's already long established, and we've proven the success of this model.
And then you got Dr. Vicki Rackner. You want to speak about her real quickly? I mean, what an incredible find that we've had here.
Yeah, I mentioned her earlier as having co-authored the book, The Thriving Book, with me. And folks, she is a retired general surgeon, been around in practice for many, many years, outsourced her billing, and knows the advantages to having doctors outsource their billing. So she has been helping medical, planners, financial planners, and CPAs to connect with doctors as part of a marketing plan. She does that now for us and our licensees, and has done many of our webinars on how to get doctors to sign up. We know that that's a big concern to licensees. We've got a doctor who's written books on the subject that can tell you how to get doctors as clients.
There you go. And ABS support, I mean, this is just what you get. You're going to get all of this support with all these different people. I mean, these people that are in these classes, they've already out there, they've gotten clients. Again, just imagine that every so often we're helping you and expanding the network even greater. And then you have the licensee support side. My goodness, Patrick, this is chock full of information as well.
Now, folks, this is a private site that you'll have access to once you're a licensee. We'll tell you how to get into it and give you the credentials for that. Once you're in this, folks, behind those tabs you see at the top there, there's a plethora. Is that a word? Plethora. That means a lot of stuff. And looks like Eric may be going directly to the site there. But we have some screenshots, Eric.
Yeah, I clicked on it. I was going to move it on, but apparently it took us right over to the site. So as Patrick is showing you or talking about that, I'll just kind of pinpoint some of these things right through here as he keeps talking about this.
Yeah, behind every one of those things, folks, there is a huge number of documents. We have all the agreements that you need, for example. We have webinars, recorded webinars. All of our training is out there. Eric, I bet there's over 100 hours of training right there on our licensee support side. We call this the LSS, the ABS LSS. And as you can see, we have how to get your business up and running from the very get-go. We have a startup section. Then we have sections on marketing, on all the different ancillary services, on tools and resources that you can have. Folks, it's just a huge, look, there's a guy that's going to welcome you when you join. Anyway, it's got a lot of stuff. He's just kind of browsing through there just to show you folks that there's just a ton of support material here. This alone, folks, is worth the $26,000 fee. I think I've said that about several things. The book is worth that. The live demos is worth that. This is worth that. So when people ask me, what am I getting when I give you that fee, folks, you can't put a price on any of this. Believe me, all of this is more than most franchises give you, Eric. These
right.
Things.
Yeah. And inside here, we've got ongoing training. And, I mean, every Friday, we're doing a private webinar with just our licensees. Now, right. Patrick, I think we last Friday, Cynthia spent an entire hour this last Friday, again, just reviewing some new techniques on some marketing. And so, folks, you're never without training. We're consistently helping you with ongoing training. Folks, if you just let this sink in, we're the only company that will have a live training course, 5 days. You sit with us, you meet with someone who's been in this business for 7-8 years now, grown her business to a very big level. And then not only do you get that, but you do get online training every week. Every week, it's all part of your support here.
Yeah, and that's not for the next year or 2 or 3. This is for life. We've been doing these Friday webinars for licensees for years and years, folks, so that's why we have so many hours already recorded out there. But we update the material. This is not stale stuff. If we come across better ways to market or better ways to do the billing inside of our system, we'll do a webinar on that and record that for you and put it out there so you don't have to even attend it live. It's all recorded and posted on the LSS.
Yeah.
Wow, we covered a lot, didn't we?
Wow, I know it. We got 3 minutes to wrap this thing up here. So we're going to try to get to some of your questions here. But, folks, here's what we've done. Marketing support, billing support, support network. Folks, we've got the complete package. And this is all we've talked about today is just support. So we want to make you feel comfortable to know that you, after today, have a pretty good handle on what's going on with our support. Patrick, before we kind of get to the last part of it, talk about the money back guarantee, and then I'll put up the dates here in just a second.
All right, people think I'm crazy because a few years back we only had a 1 or 2 year support, and then we went lifetime. And then I blew my staff's mind when in one meeting I said, guys, we're going to start offering a 100% money back guarantee. I mean, really, we had people walking out of the room. They could not believe that I was going to do that. But folks, here's what I said. Look, if we have what we say we have, then people will see that during that week of training. When they're here, they'll know, probably midway through the week, they'll know whether this is real or whether we've just made all this up, and whether this is something that they can do and feel comfortable with. So the guarantee has no weasel words in it. Look at it. It says, if at the end of the training workshop for any reason, Eric, any reason, you do not think this business is right for you, simply tell any of the staff members and they'll arrange for you to receive a full refund of your license fee. Now, folks, all you'll be out is what you paid to get here. You know, if you had to fly, for example. Maybe you use some miles if you have those, and it doesn't really cost you anything. And then the hotel room. The hotel will cost you about, we do this at a Marriott Suites hotel, so it's a very nice place to stay for the week. You want to be comfortable during the week. But we've got a great rate on the room, and it's only about $700 total for the whole 5 days. So that's all you'd be out to find out if what we have is real. If it is, you'll know that, and you'll move forward and go out and get your first client within the next 30 or 60 days. Or if for some reason at the end of the week you go, no, this is just not, no, I didn't like Eric's haircut.
Right.
Then, you get your money back.
There you go.
Any reason.